Welcome back once again to the imaginary gallery. It's now time for some narcissist trash talk. Tonight's topic is how the covert narcissist always has to be right. Now, this does not mean that the covert narcissist is always right. It's just in their fantasy world that they live in, they have to give the appearance of always being right, like so many other things. Like when they try to tell you that they're the most honest person you'll ever meet, well, they're not the most honest person, they're the most dishonest person, but they will take careful pains to make it look like they're being honest when they're around you or when they're speaking to you. And how does this look? When they always have to be right, for example, if you see the evidence that some terrible activity occurred, and it's overwhelming evidence, you may approach them and say, hey, I noticed the lipstick on your collar, the smell of lady's perfume that wasn't mine if you're a lady, and you came home awfully late and tried to sneak in. Something happened. Well, with the narcissistic personality covert fool, you'll be likely to be told foolish things like, oh, that lipstick, I let someone borrow that shirt. Yeah, she did that, or some fake excuse. But the point is, it has to be right, which in this case, its claim would be that it didn't do anything wrong. There's a perfectly good explanation for every little piece of what you have brought up. Keeping in mind, though, of course, if the roles were reversed and you had come home hours late, tried to sneak in, and had another man's perfume on your clothing, you'd be given the third degree by this creature. But when the roles are reversed, oh no, nothing wrong's been done. Because they love to portray themselves as the hero and or the victim. So oftentimes when you catch them, like in this case, let's say you do find proof he was with this lady, well, he'll make himself into a victim and say, well, she forced me to do these things, and she threatened me, and I didn't want to, and things like that will come up, which are totally fake. But this goes for arguments or discussions of other subjects as well, where you'll know something for a fact. Let's use a phony example. You go into the narcissist's home, and you see a special door on the bedroom, and you recognize that door from Target. So you say, oh, I see you got your door at Target. Well, let's say that for some reason, this person's agenda doesn't want you to know that. So it might say, oh, no, I didn't get it at Target. I got it at Kmart. And then you don't believe it. So you may investigate the door, look at it carefully. Lo and behold, you'll find a little sticker or some kind of indication that it was Target. Well, when you approach it again, you'll say, I know for a fact you got that door at Target. I see the sticker right there. Well, a normal, non-abusive, non-toxic person would say, oh my goodness, you got me. You're right, that sticker does give it away. What? Who am I trying to fool? But no, not with the covert narcissist. No, you will not get that kind of reaction. You will be told, no matter what proof you show, that, oh no, I did get it at Kmart, and that sticker means nothing. I went to Kmart and I saw that sticker on some of their doors. That's not my fault, or whatever they'll say. This is what it looks like in their fantasy world, that they have to be right. So in this case, later on you rummage through the drawer and find the receipt for that very door and model from Target. But that doesn't matter. The creature has to always be right, which means any time you have this discussion, you will be told that, oh yes, it was bought at Kmart. I already told you that. I don't know why the sticker was there. Maybe someone put it there by accident, la la la, all the foolishness they'll say that's retarded. And you've already uncovered the mystery. You've figured it out. But because of their personality disorder that will not allow them to be wrong, it basically means that in this face-to-face showdown, they will never cave in to admit to say, oh yes, I did go to Target. They won't. And this, again, means they have to leave the conversation being right. So in their twisted mind, even though they did buy it at Target, as long as they tell you they didn't, they're right. And then when you leave, well, they think they've won. I've won that argument. It's a twisted, sickening personality disorder to have, because one of the things that makes us stronger human beings in this world is if we do make a mistake, we're put in our place and realize it, and then it makes us grow. It makes us realize that we don't know everything. We might think we do, but we can be proven wrong, and it's a lesson learned. But there are no lessons to be learned for the covert narcissist, not at least ones that you're teaching. It'll learn better ways to hide things, like the next time it buys a door, it'll look for that sticker and take it off. But let's just say, though, when it goes beyond all this, and let's say a video appears showing this person at Target buying that door. But when that happens, it's kind of too late. There's nothing else they can say. So because they have to always be right, and you have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that they're absolutely wrong, what will happen then will usually be, so what about it at Target? Big deal. And they're done with it. And then you think back to all those arguments and all those times it would try to say, oh no, it was not Target, it was Kmart, and then they give you all these details that are foolish. Then when it's finally uncovered 100%, they don't want to have anything to do with it. Just, oh, who cares, so what? And they're just done. I mean, it's just difficult for a regular person to think, but wait a second, you were so passionate about the fact that you did buy it at Kmart, but now that I found out the proof and showed it to you, now you were done with the conversation? Sick. But this plays into their fantasy world that they live in. They want to save face, so they will continue with their phony story no matter how much evidence appears, unless you get to that part I just mentioned. They can gaslight you with such things, so you are 100% right about something in your mind, but they will go out of their way to prove to you that you're wrong, which is a form of abuse, because most of us would think, you bought it at Target, admit it, what's the big deal? But for some reason, these creatures find reasons, and they will not share the truth until you get to that point where you have the video showing that they bought it there. But if they have you isolated, it does help them to gaslight you and control you into believing what they're saying, but they're basically bullies. You've got all the evidence to prove your side, presenting it like you're in a courtroom saying, here's why I think this store was bought at Target because A, B, C, D, E. No matter what you say, they are bullies, and they will say, well, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. The truth of the matter is, though, they're wrong, and they won't admit it. They're cowards, sore losers. They will not admit any kind of fault. And then later on down the road, if you choose to stick around with such a creature, and you say, wait, I was thinking about that door again. Why did it take me to have to get the security videos to prove that you bought that door at Target rather than Kmart? Now, come on. And you'll be, I told you 1,000, I'm through with that. And they won't want to discuss it because they're retarded. And they cannot accept the fact that they've been caught. And if you do bring up such a conversation, be aware, they will be plotting some kind of revenge to get you back. Even though it's as twisted as it sounds, you've done nothing wrong. You followed your own instinct. You said what you thought and stuck with it, and it turned out to be right. There's no fault on your part. But these creatures live in a twisted fantasy world, and they see that as you have wronged them. You have dared to question their lies. Something bad will happen to you eventually. That's why it's best to steer clear from these monsters, because they will do something evil. And they're so sneaky and covert about it, they'll just smile and pretend like everything's just fine, and then it'll only be a matter of time before you find out that maybe your brakes were cut or loosened, so you have a wreck, or whatever evil they'll come up with to punish you, which is a twisted form of punishment because, again, you didn't do anything wrong, and if they really loved you as they claimed at the love bombing stage, they would be telling you how brilliant you are for figuring out where the door was purchased. But see, those days are gone by this point. So keep this in mind, and if you are dealing with such a creature, you may feel like you can one-up them and show them the next time they pull such a trick, but it really isn't worth the battle because, let's say you do, you'll be paid back in horrible ways, and it will not be worth it at all. And you may end up losing important parts of your life. So if you find these types of arguments going on, the best thing to do is say nothing and disappear. Because if you say something, you'll be attacked, because remember, they have to be right. So if you say, I don't want to see you anymore, I think this door thing was horrible, it shows me how much of a liar you are, I don't want people like you in my life, well then you'll be yanked in. Well, what about the time I did this for you? What about the time I did that for you? I can't believe you're going to let this door end our relationship. Oh, designed to push guilt buttons. This is all manipulation. Being right is manipulation as well, by pretending that your facts do not matter, and you oftentimes wonder, wait, when we first met, you told me how smart I was, and now I'm using that intelligence, and you're telling me it's completely wrong. I don't get it. Well, because they switched masks. They took off their sweet mask and put on the monster mask. Beware and get away from this creature.
I am the Narcopath, and I missed you. Do you miss me? I know I'm the most beautiful one you've ever had. You must think about me sometime. You must. I've become more beautiful with age.
Oh, yeah. And that time that your aunt died, you missed the funeral, you wondered how that could have happened. Again, guilty. Thing was, I really needed your attention. During that period, it really bothered me that all this news was coming forth about her health, and I can't be bothered with that. I don't even know her. The point was I needed you. I needed you to help me with the project I was working on, which, of course, was to gain the love of somebody else that you didn't even know about. You thought that maybe your phone was malfunctioning because your family had called you on so many occasions to give you status updates, which I heard every single one of them. Guess what I did? Those status updates. I deleted every single one of them. I did not want anything to interfere in my plans. Too bad. So when the funeral came and went, and your family was furious at you for ignoring all their calls, well, I just pretended like I had no idea what was going on and thought maybe it was your phone too, and told you some made-up stories that I've heard that brand of phone does that. But never you mind. Now, of course, now it's all over anyway, so who cares? It wouldn't have mattered if you went to that funeral anyway. So, just thought I'd let you know.
Also, I bet you didn't know I have another skill.
I'm the best actress there is. Remember your friends I mentioned before? It didn't take much to convince them that you were mistreating me, and they were quick to show me the way I should be treated. But I made sure they kept it from you, because, quite frankly, you didn't need to know about it. I had each one of them convinced I was the ultimate damsel in distress, and I'd pick little things you'd do, and I'd twist them just a little bit, just enough that would be familiar to them, and they'd think I was telling the truth. So I got a bonus from every single one of them. Eventually, I isolated you away from them, so you couldn't compare notes. Like I said, I should be the president. I am brilliant.
So when I came out pregnant and you were sterile, well, it must have been immaculate. But you didn't buy that, so...
I quickly left town, and I aborted the fetus and gave it to the queen. She ate it.